Hello, this is Andy from Selden. I'm here with Guy Gadney, CEO of Charisma.ai. Hello,
Hi.
Guy.
Hi.
Cool. So the intention for the video today is really just to give you insight into storytelling and AI and how this kind of technology, how this new kind of this wave is impacting both enterprise and also end users. You know, storytellers from doing better at their work and telling better stories. So what I really like to kind of understand first is, who are you, and who is Charisma.ai?
So we set up Charisma.ai a couple of years ago under a games development company called To Play For. And what we were doing was we realized that as the web and the internet gets more and more personal, people enjoy characters and bring characters to life, there needed to be a system that could do this using the latest in natural language processing, using AI, to create characters that people could talk to. So Andy here might actually be real, or he could be a complete virtual avatar who looks really real, and we've programmed him with Charisma to say interesting things, or indeed it could be me. So Charisma we take out to primarily people who are involved in storytelling on a day-to-day basis. So broadcasters, networks, studios, indeed writers, game studios, and the like, and that's and those are the guys who are looking for extensions to TV series, to movies, to video games, or to create new products.
Right.
And that's how it works.
Okay. And so if I'm the head of a particular department at a media entertainment business, and I'm looking to make my products better, deliver a better service, more engagement to my users on different product lines, how would I go about implementing what you're talking about, and what is the actual opportunity for them?
Well, I mean there are two key things here. One is that everyone loves a story. We love being told stories. We always have done as kids, and it makes no difference whether you're watching a good story like Game of Thrones or Westworld, or indeed whether you're dealing with a brand. And the stories, brands have tried storytelling for ages, and that's great through advertising and so on. But when we start to put interactivity into the mix, you have to have some form of conversation going on. And at the moment, what we're seeing in technology is that conversation is very, let's call it A to B and back again. So I say something, the brand says something back, and that's the end of the conversation. What Charisma,
it's the same with Siri as well, isn't it?
Very much so.
Yeah.
So and that's their model, because in essence it's like a voice-driven search engine. But what Charisma is doing is extending that from being A to B and back again to being A, B, C, D, and having an extended conversation. So what that's giving brands and indeed TV shows and films is it's giving that sense of engagement. It's deepening the engagement, and it's creating a longer conversation, and it's building a relationship. It's something that where consumers can extend their relationship and feel that they're part of the show or indeed the brand.
Yeah. So going back to what you said about the different brands have different voices. If we think of like Virgin or Intel or other companies out there, we associate certain things with them, but if we could take our engagement with them a level further, and they've actually got a voice, and that voice has got emotion, it's got different suggestions, it's got its own charisma, how that would be incredibly influential in a good or bad way on the actual consumer, and we would build an even deeper relationship with those brands. So I can really understand the opportunity for brands there. And in terms of like things like games, so at the moment if I play a computer game, it might stop. It stops with intervals, and it tells me where I am in the storyline, and it sets me the new mission, maybe with scrolls and scripts. But what you're saying is it would actually have the story would kind of grow and unfold organically during the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So the games industry is something that we feel absolutely wedded to, and indeed we're starting to develop our own games titles based on books and TV series that we license in. And what that does is that rather than sort of just putting you, again, to use your Siri or Alexa analogy, putting you on one-to-one with someone who is just you and then them responding back, with Charisma, you are in a room with a cast of 10, 20 people. And what you say to them may interest them. It may interest someone over here, it may interest someone over there. And the story will adapt and evolve. So really what it's doing is it's putting you actually in the heart of the story based on those characters and the way that those characters behave. And that gives a sense of richness that we just haven't seen yet, but now that technology enables.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I could actually be in a game with, say, 7 other people, and if I make a comment which, it kind of pushes some of their buttons or isn't of a certain level that they would acknowledge in a normal life situation, then that would play out in that scenario.
Yeah, and we've all been there in real life.
They could be serial killers in the game.
They could be serial killers, they could be anything that your imagination can create. I think we've all been there in real life, where you have I don't know whether it's a meeting room with loads of people or whether it's a party with loads of people, and you say something and it chimes very well with one person, but you may have lost a friend for life if you've said the wrong thing to the wrong person. And that's exactly what Charisma was built to do, was manage those sorts of emotional conversations, not just sort of informational fact-finding, but something which taps into those emotions and then rolls it out as part of a storytelling experience.
Fascinating. Okay, so look, just to finish off, so if I'm, the type of people or job titles that you're pitching the product to and doing deals with, when you're helping them advise them of their strategy and how to kind of build value in their business, through this type of technology and services, what kind of 3 tips or 3 actions would you suggest to them to actually start learning about it and actually implementing it in their business?
Well, I would say the people we tend to pitch to are, generally speaking, the people who have the closest relationship with their consumers. So it's marketing people, it's commissioners for broadcast networks, and it's producers of video, TV, and games. And I think the reason for that is that these people are the people who want to build relationships and need technologies to be able to build that relationship. So I think the building of the relationship is one. The ability to do it quickly and easily and adaptively, that's what we do too. And then underpinning everything is the story, which is how we started. And in some ways this conversation is now going back into the beginning of the story. Everything has to tell a good story. And it's not enough, I think, just to have this sort of, as I said, this knock it back over the net methodology. Now it's about extending that story and keeping people engaged with something that they will find fun and interesting.
Yeah. Well, look, as humans, we're driven by connection, and our minds are geared towards hooking into and being in tune with stories. And I've heard time and time again, Andy, with your sales pitches, form it into a good story. We all love the movies and cinema, and if you can incorporate better storytelling and better engagement, better connection for brands with their consumers and with their products, then I can see it being a really big area of business for everybody. So I wish you all the best. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us today.
See you.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.